Okay, so welcome to Digital Technology Sample Exam 2022 revision. It's very short revision on this one, but there's a significant question on question 15, so we'll do that on the next video. But let's start the revision. So the first one is very simple, wireframe with principal visual communication. So this one here is located on page 24 of your book, which is the curve. So the contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity. So basically, contrast means that it needs to be visible, to be seen each other. Alignment means that position needs to be aligned. So sort of thinking about like a grid line, it needs to be aligned. Repetition is means that everything needs to be consistent, font, format, box size, and everything. And proximity means that the items needs to be close to each other. So yeah, technically hierarchy is not part of it, so we can rule it out, and proportion we can rule it out. So proximity more relates to like a label, so like email. So you have email address in here, then it needs to be proximity close to each other. So that's the reason why I think that they recommend the selection of alignment is because everything is aligned accordingly as well. So that's why we get the alignment in there. Right. So question nine. Question nine. Let's have a look. Question nine. Question nine is very simple. Is that 10 to 15? The keyword here is inclusive. So inclusive means you need to have an equal sign. So that one doesn't have equal sign, that one doesn't have equal sign. So we only have to figure out these two. So now it's between. So because it's between, generally if you have this between that, that's normally where you use the and command. So basically means that the number is bigger than this point and it's smaller than this point. If you're looking something outside here, then that's when you use the or. So that's why that one's supposed to be a D. Question 9. Simples. So now question 10. Now this is where it gets fun. So in question 10, we have in here what we call a sub procedure or a function or um, demodularization. The reason with the demodularization here is that we want to reduce the effort required to write the code. Because if this process one is being called multiple times, so let's say this is one code and then you have another code here that called process one, then you technically have to continually repeat the code. The problem with that, if there's a problem with the code or if there's an improvement with the code, you have to modify this code on every point where it occurs. So that's why we use the modularization. So any code that perform the same operation, that one is grouped into a single code. Right, so now let's launch a notepad and let's follow through the code. Right, so in here, so we have X, I'm just gonna jump here, X and Y. Right, so we have set X into 6 and then Y into 12. Okay, so now we go down here, X less than Y, yep, so that is true, so it's increment X. So now we have X becoming 7, and then it says Y process pass through X and Y. So basically what happened here is that you're gonna have A and B, so let's just do A and B there. So in here, we're passing it X becomes A and Y becomes B. So X becomes 7, Y becomes 12. So you have 7 and 12, and then you have a C. So let's just do a C there. C equals B minus A times 2. So 12 minus 7, which is 5 times 2. So that C will now equals 10. And then it returns C. So when it returns C, C actually goes back and override Y. So that's why the Y in here is now becoming. So let's just drop it down here. So that one then. 1 second. I'm challenging with the alignment here. Give me 1 second. There you go. So that one is now 10. Right. So that's how it's gonna work. Right. So now we go back in here and then end while, so which is still part of this. So we're going back. So this is a loop. So we're going back up in here, and then let's check x is still less than y, which is correct. So we'll increment x. So x becomes 8, and then pass it there. So that's 8. That is now 10. Now we have b minus 8. 10 minus 8 is 2, times 2 is 4. So then we pass on 4 back in here. So y is 4, and then we still go back up here, but this time x is less than y. It's not, because 8 is not less than 4, so that one is failed. So it jumps to output y here, and then we can check in here, y is currently 4. So when we say output y, so we are outputting 4. So that's what the answer here, number 10B. All right, so that is the first one. So now let's see if we can do a short responses of question 12. So let's see what we have in here, question 12. Okay, cool, that's fine, I can work with that. So question 12 is here. Yeah, so this is question 15. It's gonna be quite significant. So we'll spend time on this on another video tomorrow, which I think is gonna be fun. Question 12. Okay, cool. So let's just jump that one there. And then stimulus. Okay. Okay, so this is the stimulus. All right, cool. Describe the listed algorithm, construct, and identify one example from each of the stimulus in corresponding line. So assignment will be, well, there's a lot of assignment. So input basically reading. So assignment, you normally work with the, I like to work assignment with the equal sign. So assignment means that you're storing value into a variable, into memory. So that one there, that one there. So that one is, it doesn't work. So that one there, anything that has an equal value, that's an assignment. This one here as well, that is an assignment. So that one there is an assignment. So assignment based on their comment here, it's basically a value stored in a variable or memory location, which is correct. So we are storing a value into a variable. I don't think you need to say memory. So you are storing a value inside a variable so that you can use it later on in the code. So that's the only reason why you store value. If you're not gonna use it, then why the hell are you storing it? So that's what it is. So that's an assignment, and that's an example. So that's the green one. Oop, wrong one. Let's change that one to green. So that is the assignment. All right, and then I've highlighted the green assignment. All right, cool. So now let's change the color to yellow. So a condition, is basically a way to, for the, what does this say in here? It's basically say comparison true or false. So they're basically something simple. So basically what we say about condition is that a way for us to help the code to make a decision based on certain condition or certain assessment. So the assessment will work So the assessment will always returns a true or false value. And then based on the true and false value, we can take different actions. So let's say maybe just say that the condition is a method that allows the code to execute different code branches depending on whether a state is satisfied or not, or a conditional is satisfied or not. So that's generally being guided by your if statement. So if we go in here, so does it do the if statement? Yep. So they use the if statement. So all the if statement if is your conditional, which is only one. Oh, yeah, there's a second one here. That's also another conditional. I don't think we have anything else. All right, cool. So then let's jump to blue. So the next question that we have is iteration. So iteration is a way to execute the same piece of code over and over and over again until a certain condition has been met. So for example, here we have a for loop here. So that one there is one iteration. Basically, it's repeating from one, I start from one to whatever years that, whatever value in the year variable. So that is one way to do it. Then sometimes it's not in here, but sometimes you're gonna have a for loop. You're gonna have a repeat until. Repeat until is also a condition. So let me just type it in here. So you will have like a repeat, and then you have a equals a plus 1 until a is bigger than 10. So that's a repeat until. You have while a is less than 10, a equals a plus 1, and then you have when. So you have while when. So it's different purposes. So for loop for loop is generally used when you counting, so you know quite specifically, and we normally use for loop in arrays because we know exactly how many carriage of train that we need to go through in the array. Repeat until is we are we want to execute the code first. So as you can see here, the code is being executed first before a condition is assessed. So at the bare minimum, the code will be executed once before the condition is validated. In the meantime, when it's actually doing it the other way around, it evaluates the condition first before it triggers the code. So if the condition is not satisfied, then the code is not never gonna be executed. So that is that. All right, cool. So now when we start to talk about modularization, so that one there, modularization. So that one is from here is where you have this block here. So you have begin and then you have a name. Oh, wrong one. Wrong. Eraser, eraser. Where is my eraser? I can change it to pink. So this one here. So this is one and this is another one. So the reason why we use modularization is that first of all it will allow us to break down the code into a smaller manageable sections. Second of all, the reason why we use modularization is it allows us to save the number of code that we need to write, because if the module here is being called multiple times across the code, then we have to write the same code over and over as well. So it allows us to write simple code, and also allows us to do easier testing as well. Because when you're doing this, then what you can do is that you can literally get someone to write this piece of code by themselves, and then you just have to provide them what is input and what is the expected output. So this allows us to build and separate the code across multiple developers, and then we can bring them back together. So that is the long term, the long discussion. But yeah, so the small discussion here is that modularization breaks session into smaller code so that the algorithm is easier to understand and allows the same code to be used in different part of application. So that's basically what I said. So the calculate interest rate. So this one here is one modular, and then this one here is also another module, and then this one here is being called from here. I hope that explained it. Um, I put the key the responses is quite okay on this one, but I just put some spins from what I've learned. So let me know how you think. But yeah, question 15 at the moment is a nightmare. Um, if I go preview quickly, so we actually have to build a DFD, and then we actually have a UI, a UX wireframe design as well, and then we actually have to do a process IPO probably. So let's have a quick look in here before we look into it. Question 15. So yeah, they don't even have an answer. So that is so cool. So they just give us just do this and then we'll figure it out. So we'll figure it out. We'll find a way. Right. So that's fine. We'll look at it on the next video, and I think that's gonna be a very long and interesting video. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.